إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستغفره ونستعينه ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. الحمد لله الواحد الأحد العزيز الجبار الأول الآخر الظاهر الباطن، هو الحي القيوم، وهو الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا، وهو الذي خلق الإنسان وعلمه البيان، وهو الذي علم بالقلم وعلم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم علمنا من علمك وأعطنا من حكمتك وآتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله، أدى الأمانة وبلغ الرسالة ونصح للأمة فكشف الله به الأمة وتركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها ولا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت وباركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Indeed, all praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one true God whom you and I are indebted to, the only God who created us, created mankind. I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except that one true God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is indeed his prophet and messenger, servant and slave. Allah's peace and blessings be upon him and his family, as Allah has blessed Ibrahim and his family. My dear beloved brothers and sisters, I want to remind myself and each and every one of us that the most important thing that you and I can accomplish in this transition of life is to become people who are in the most sincerest way fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fearing Allah in a way that's exclusive to Him and Him only. In a way that's entirely different than our fear of other powers. All those other fears are associated with negativity. Fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's nothing negative about it. All of the other fears we run away from. Fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala compels us to run towards Him. So if we become those kind of people, we succeed in this life and we succeed in the hereafter. May Allah make us those people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Nahl, an ayah that really tells us one of the objectives of our creation. In fact, the sole objective of our creation. Allah أخرجكم من بطون أمهاتكم لا تعلمون شيئا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah has delivered you out of the wombs of your mothers, and you knew nothing. You were blank, zero. Let's reflect that for a second before we complete the rest of it. Here Allah created us in the wombs of our mothers. Another human being who did not know anything about you, nor did did she owe you anything. Allah created you in that womb. But that mother sacrifices, she carries you 9 months, or even lesser sometimes. She feeds you out of her own feed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed that to happen. We take away from her actual food and essential foods that her body needs. We take her space, we take her time, we take everything we impose on her. All of that so we could be delivered, you and I. But we have nothing. We're zero. لا تعلمون شيئا. You knew nothing. You don't even know your mother at that time. وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة لعلكم تشكرون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us one of those 3 things that Allah mentioned before our delivery. In other words, the fetus can't hear while he or she is in the womb of the mother. If there is fighting, constant fighting in the house, that fetus can hear, and it impacts them psychologically. Now we know this through science, but Allah told us way before. SubhanAllah. That's why some say that if you want to really your child to be musical oriented or mathematical oriented, genius or what have you, let them listen to symphonies and orchestras, those kind of things. Because now they know scientifically that fetus can hear, and it will impact the way they grow up afterwards when they're delivered. So وَجَعَلَ لَكُمُ السَّمْعَ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the hearing before anything else. وَالْأَبْصَارَ, the ability to see. وَالْأَفْئِدَةِ, which is different than the qalb. And here al-fu'ad, what means the collective aspect of what the heart does in the spiritual sense, in the Islamic sense, and what the mind does. All that combined. Ability to see information, to run it through your mind, to make sense out of it, started with the Quran and the purpose of your life. So that kind of afidah, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to figure out that we did not create ourselves, we did not come to be without someone created us. All of that calculation comes through the afidah. So once we figured all of that, and we have 3 of those blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, now we can hear, we can see, we have the faculty to process information, to make sense of what we see and what we hear. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. So that you may become thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You may become mindful of why you were created. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us for that reason. And a shukr, unlike alhamd. Alhamd is when the heart, what you have in heart, in other words, your niyyah, and your tongue are combined, and you're appreciating somebody with those 2. If you did that, you fulfilled the alhamd part. A shukr, all of that, what we just mentioned, add that to what Allah, when you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your limbs, al-jawarih. In other words, you're making ibadat, you're thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. In the obvious and in the hidden, both. So all of that combined is what the shukr is. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, وَقَلِيلٌ مِنْ عِبَادِي الشَّكُورُ. Only a few out of my servants are grateful. That's when we have to say, oh Allah, make us out of the few. Because not everybody is thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only a few, Allah said. And He's not talking about the kuffar and not kuffar, even among the Muslims. Constantly thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, only a few. Only a few. And we live a time of distraction, as we are aware. There are a lot of things that preoccupy the human being before they become sincerely grateful to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. Always remembering that. It's easier to talk about that, but hard to remember all the time. And sometimes even in our daily adhkar, we become so mechanical, so robotic, that we're not really paying a lot of attention, including myself. I don't want to pretend that I'm an angel who never misses that. Tasbih wa tahmeed wa dhikrullah and all of that. We're human beings. We slip. But as long as you and I understand why Allah created us, and we will not be ingrate. Ingrate. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لِرَبِّهِ لَكَنُودٌ. Ingrate. Someone who does not appreciate anything. Someone who thinks he's too good to be appreciated when you do them a favor. Imagine if you had a friend like that. How long would you be their friend? How long? You're not ingrate. You do them a favor, they do the opposite to you. For how long would you tolerate that? وَإِنَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ لَشَهِيدٌ. And his behavior, the way he conducts himself, the human being, needs no other testimony. He's already in his behavior declaring that he's an ingrate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah protect us from that. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. My dear beloved brothers and sisters, we just talked about in the first part of the khutbah focuses on how the human being is born helpless, and the Creator of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave that human being everything. And the human being turns away and remembers that Creator that gave him everything that he has because of his grace. Did not ask anything or put any condition to it. You and I are given those blessings to breathe the air that you and I are breathing today. As I'm talking to you, I inhale and exhale. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me that, and He does not send me a bill at the end of the month. Nor does He shut down the services on me because I was not good enough to thank Him. But can He afford to do that? Most definitely, yes. out of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he called himself Ar-Rahman. And Ar-Rahman is one whose rahmah is constant all the time, unlike the Rahim. This one is a rahmah that befits and reaches everybody, including those who declared war against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even those, Allah gives them the rahmah for temporary, until they are held accountable in the hereafter. But because He is our Rahman, He's not shutting down the services on us, shutting off the services. He gives us. But the mission and the goal and the objective of your life and my life is to understand that you and I are indebted to someone other than us. Allah created us. He gave us everything that we have. So therefore, saying thank you from the human level, and there's no comparison to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the human level. That's like saying when somebody does favors to you, thank you. That's the right thing to do in every culture. Amazing. Because this is the essence of life. That's why every culture that you can examine, Western, Eastern, you name it, African, whatever, break it down to single countries. Saying thank you is something that we are programmed to appreciate, hardwired to appreciate. Because that's the essence of our creation. Why we were created. To be thankful, to be grateful. And it always improves relationship, even within ourselves, among ourselves, and within our families. If we learn just to say thank you when somebody does something for you, wallahi, it makes a big difference. Let's turn our hearts to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اللهم اجعلنا ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون احسنه. اللهم ارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا، اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا، اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا، اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الاحياء منهم والاموات انك قريب سميع مجيب الدعوات يا رب العالمين. واقم الصلاه.